morning, good morning, YouTube viewers, good morning, Instagram viewers, and awesome morning to Facebook viewers. Good morning to everybody. It's a beautiful day this morning. Even though we got this weather, it's a little cold, a little dreary, but we're standing today and, coming out in this weather, you have to have no fear that, you're going to make it to where you need to go. And which I did. I made it here with you guys today and ladies. So, we're all here. So, we're going to get right into the topic. Before we start, for Instagram, it's my videos are long, so it's hard for me to upload them. So if someone knows a way that I can upload them into it, because for whatever reason they stopped it because they were too long. So if someone knows about it, let me know in your in the comments. Also comment, because there's topics we can talk about. But I'm trying to keep everybody in the flow with what's going on around us today, how it affects us, how we can look at things and look at a broad picture instead of, the pictures that, we've been accustomed to looking at, what feels comfortable. So that has a lot to do with today's topic, which is fear. Fear is today's topic. And you say fear, a lot of people say, I don't fear. Yeah, we all got a fear. Everybody has a fear. So I want to show you in today's video how this fear works, and is it always working for us, or sometimes that fear can work against us. We have no idea that it's happening in this way. So this is the way that I'm showing it today. So I'm going to tell a story, start out with a story about a group of people. They were on this cruise ship. So, the cruise ship is out in the middle of the ocean, they run into this turbulence. So the ship is destroyed. But all the people make it. But because the people were so far out at sea, when, civilization, when help went out there to locate the people, they wrote them all off as gone, lost at sea, because of the severity of the wreckage that was there. But these people, they made it. They all made it, all that people on that ship, they made it to this island. So, they get on this island, and the first thing they do, they're they think that somebody's coming. So they say, okay, well, we got to hunker down. And so people started breaking off, without hey, let's do this together. People started just breaking off into their own little groups. And, they were going to get their own supplies, setting up their own little camps. And, as time goes on, nobody's coming to get these people, so now, one group of people, they're starting to build this boat, whereas the other people are like, hey, let's, continue to hoard these supplies. Time still goes on. Now they're there on that island for a year. All those little groups became two groups. The people who wanted to build a boat to get off of the island, and the people who wanted to, stock food and supplies so that, they can survive until, help arrive. So, what becomes of this? The people that were building the boat, they figured, hey, when we finish building this boat, we got we need food and supplies. So, we need to go and see these people who got the food and supplies. Now, the people who have the food and supplies, they say, well, we have food and supplies. However, all that wood that they're using on building that big boat, that can be better used to build shelter. So now you have two groups at odds. And we always know what happens when we have two groups at odds. But what made this story the story that it is because of what we see today. And what we see today more and more is that we automatically gravitate to insecurity. We automatically when I say insecurity, I'm gonna explain all this. But when we gravitate to this, we gravitate to where we find insecurities in ourselves. So as a group, all those groups that were all split off into their own groups, the reason why they became only two groups is because it's the survival of the fittest. So that's where that insecurity comes in, because you want to be with the strongest. You want to align yourself with the strongest. So, and it's not always building a boat. Sometimes you might feel it's food and supplies. So no two people, no one person is alike, but we gravitate to what we know and what we're comfortable with, and that is a fear. So we know that bad things happen when these things happen, but what we want to concentrate on is the island itself. And first, before we even really get into deep to explaining what was going on that island, let me first explain or give a quote. And this quote is from acting senator right now. His name is Ron Paul. He also fought for legalization of marijuana. But his name is Ron Paul. And Ron Paul was quoted as saying, "A controlled environment can only exist if the people are stupid." Now that's from a senator. That's somebody who makes laws. That's somebody who looks out for a region of people and speak a language for a people. This is a quote that came out of his mouth. Now this quote is not good nor bad, because the definition to this quote to me is called quantitative easing, and I'm going to get into explaining quantitative easing in a second. But the story tells us that we're unique. We're not, we're diverse in our own ways. We're also independent in our own ways. But yet again, we gravitate to those who share similar interests, needs, and desires. Even though we might not agree completely, we find the things that we do. And again, that's a fear. So we bond emotionally to these groups. We bond emotionally to these people because of human nature. So we protect our interests. So we become emotionally attached whenever we bond with someone. Whenever someone shares an idea that we share, we become emotionally bond. We emotionally bond with that person. We identify with that person. So it's only human nature that we would feel that way. So that even on an island where money, material possessions, and property meant nothing, when they were on that island, it was just an island. Nobody was any better than anyone else, because nothing, you couldn't spend it. What would you do? But we're going to find out in a second. Yet the people on that island began to take what was plentiful, abundant, also it was free, and put a value on it. That's what that's what I want to bring out in this story, that these people, they left civilization and all the stuff. They were on vacation because they were trying to get away from the crap, the bills, the everyday hustle and bustle, everything that you could think of. But the first thing that they did once they got on the island was separate, go into their own little groups, and then put value on different things in the island. When it would have been so wise to work together. But it's that fear. It's the fear of failure. It's the fear of not having something. It's not the fear of not having something else to look at than ourselves. So this is how this fears work. Fear is in everything. There's not a person out here that doesn't fear. So the fact that they put a value on everything, to me, it's kind of crazy. But other people, like we say, we're unique. Other people might feel, oh no, that's only human. Think about this. You're stuck on an island. You're stuck together. If you got 20 people working together to build a boat, and get supplies and make sure everybody has shelter, make sure everybody has food, or if you have 50 people or you have 100 people, you get off that island a lot faster. And this is what I'm saying about the world that we live in today. And you're going to find out why this island has everything to do with today and which has to do with us. So now we want to understand what this process is of why people gravitate to, things that complicate things. And it's out of fear. So what this process is called, and this is why it's not a fault of our own, because there's a science behind getting people to manipulating people, brainwashing people, and propagandizing people to create fear, even when fear is not there, to keep fear there. They do it in every corner, every market. We even do it to other people. But when it's done to us, we feel some kind of way, because we don't look at ourselves. We're looking at everything else that we fear. The fear of becoming who we are, the fear of becoming who we know that we can be, the fear of becoming, knowing that there's a voice and there's a responsibility that goes with those voices. So this process where they use to get us to feel certain kinds of way, this is, to me, it's called quantitative easing. Now, by definition, quantitative easing is what they're doing right now with the stimulus package. The economy is flipped upside down. So in order to turn around and continue to put value on money, even though the interest rate on the money has gone down, it's because of the printing of it. That's quantitative easing. It's flowing paper money into a system to keep that system, at an even flow until the economy picks up where it can bounce back again. Then they draw money out of the economy, i.e. taxes, i.e. stimulus. So that's the definition of the word, but I want us to use this word in a different way. Quantitative easing is where a group of people, and I said it in another video about lawful evil, where it's a group. Now, quantitative easing is, say I own a grocery store, I own a market, but now you own a market and that's across the street. Your market has been here so many years, so many years. Now I come in and I invest, even though I know that my market is losing. In the first 5 years, my market is losing. Now I got commercials up. Now I got your customers paying your customers to make commercials for me to say how good the food is, even though they don't shop inside my grocery store. Now after the 5th year, people are coming who would have never came if it wasn't because I took the initiative to take a step farther and employ people of their own community to say something positive in my behalf. That's quantitative. When you can seek other people to get a message, even though you're using manipulating and brainwashing to, draw money, we project again. It's a fear. Now I'm gonna go back into how fear applies with this. The fear is that for every business that is on that strip, that customer, the one that through advertising I ran out, now everyone on that block feels now I'm coming after their store, which in reality this is what we do, dog eat dog world, and it goes like that. So we know that in this world things are used quantitatively to mislead us. Even though there might be people, there might be situations, and the situations are set up situations to provoke a certain response. We use it in advertising. So to me, quantitative easing means, by definition to me, and how it should apply to us, is and should be to all of you, trusting those who we think want no more. Sorry. I'm going to say it again. Trusting those who we think know more. And it says it in a nutshell, and I'm going to explain why. Because this is what we walk away with, understanding this. We trust. We trust who we think know more than us. So this is why the people on that island started to gravitate from one little group, two little groups, and clusters, and then be ultimately formed two groups. And that's what that is, quantitative easing. You're constantly chasing after who knows more. And the people from those groups, those little small groups who are leading those small groups, they have no choice but to join the next group, because the people that are in that group will say, hey, I think this guy knows a little bit more than you. Maybe we should, join together. That's how that movement goes until it reaches its point. Now, when it reaches its point is what I want to end with, what it has to do with fear. So, the fear of those people is a fear of being like everybody else, not being in a social class, being better than or less than. That is a fear. And that was the fear with those people on that island. They gravitated, they wanted to go right back to their status, forget about everything else. And the fear of working together. We're all working together as one on that island would have been faster. But what if it would have failed? And that's why people always have that doubt. And if it's that doubt is going to lead you off into another direction, which is food and supplies. And you're going to take people with you who agree. So, again, it's fear of keeping us together. The fear of looking at their own reality. That's the main thing, that we fear looking at our own realities in life to see, what is it, we're just using words, or we just use actions when it's okay to use actions, or are we really what we stand for? Do we really present ourselves 24/7, 365.3 days out of the year? Are we real like that? So, that's a fear, but also the fear of knowing who we are. So, in today's world, we gravitate to gossip, we gravitate to conspiracy, we gravitate to drama, we gravitate to everything that's bad under the sun, because we've been conditioned so much to fear so much that the worst and the bad is so much happening that when good happens, we wouldn't even know what to do with it if it did. We wouldn't believe it. We wouldn't believe that it existed because we're constantly in fear. So we get flooded by this, not of our own fault. We get it through the media. We get it so much through media. We get it through movies. We get it through, all different types of social venues. We get this negative energy. So this fear is depriving us of the unknown. It's depriving us all of a happy and fulfilling life today. Like those people on the island, the only people who came out of that situation on top were the two people who ended up, people trusted in the end. The boat, the guy who was leading the people making the boat, and the guy who was leading the people making the food and supplies. The guy in the food and the supplies said, because we're continuously fighting with the people who are building these boats, they're going to need more food, they're going to need more supplies to keep up their energy. The guy who's building a boat says, we're going to need more food, so therefore we're going to need more supplies, so therefore, as long as these people are fighting amongst each other, we're going to need to, need to rebuild this boat and never leave the island. Because year after year after year, they're split because of fear. And that fear comes from saying, hey, let's work together. Hey, let's pull who knows what to do what. We'll break up, but we'll be one unit. One unit will be for food. The other ones will be for chopping the wood for the boats. The other ones will be responsible for the shelter, and work in groups, but yet and still all come back to, get off that island. Get off that island together. And that's what we have to do. Most people, they're looking at other people as what their political views are and how they feel about, the world around us. And for me, what it is no matter what, I'm for humanity. And humanity is something that we do not talk about. We want to get side and whose side and whose side. I'm for what's best for humanity, what makes sense. Like those people who all were working together to get off that island, putting aside their differences to understand one another's strengths and to understand one another's weaknesses. Therefore, it's out of that strength that I come to you, and that's what I want for humanity. Yet, I could take it a different way, and out of that fear, that well, I don't fear. I just want what's best for us. So I'm not even going to try to project myself into a fear-based type of mentality. So, I hope that that's what we can all walk away with and understand, that at the end of fear, is strength. And it's the strength that we had, through what brought us through this year of 2020. It's the strength that we had. And the no fear that we did not lack. We had it. So therefore, continue with this and continue, to grow and to continue to, let go of the fear and confront the fear. Because as long as we as a people across all the land confront these fears, because we're all going through it. No matter what continent you are on right now, the same program is being run under all the people like you and me. Fear, 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 constant fear, 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 fear. Let 2021 be the year where we put an end to that fear, where we go at the way we went about 2020, we continuously go and we continuously let our voice be heard, our likes, our dislikes, and discuss it. Don't, this all this, it's us against them. Nothing ever gets done. So, I'm not for that in that way. But my hands are frozen. But, that's our video for Friday. I know it's kind of like a gloomy day, but I don't want, I don't want us to be in fear. I don't want us to be in fear no more, because we're being played one against one another, and we're not winning at all. And as far as the fires go, I know a family, I just experienced a lost life in it. So our prayers go out to those, are still experiencing these fires. Who the tropical storms that are here for 2020 have shattered everything nature-wise that has been happening, has shattered all the records in history. Think about that as well, going into this weekend, because the land hasn't stopped burning, and these hurricanes and these tropical storms haven't stopped coming. So let's understand why these things are happening. And so with that, everyone, have an awesome Friday. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for, taking in positive stuff, because, it's up to us. Like I said, the world is going to be what they are, but through our examples, we become light, and we are light. So let's shine that light no matter who we are, even though we're strong underneath. We still show compassion, we still show understanding, but we also show strength. And with that, I want to say click, like, subscribe. Have an awesome day. And with that, peace and blessings.
Oh.